OASIS, the Online Aerospace Systems Information System, the International Aerospace Quality Group, and the $254 billion illusion of aerospace quality exposed by me, Daryl Guberman. My name is Daryl Guberman, recognized quality expert, 40 years in the trenches of American manufacturing quality and aerospace systems. I stand before you today to expose one of the greatest industrial accreditation frauds in modern history. A $254 billion deception that began after September 11, 2001 has continued to corrode the integrity of global aerospace certification to this very day. Not just them, but every industry who is ANAB accredited, American National Accrediting Board, or their derivatives on the International Accreditation Forum, which was founded by ANSI-ANAB, and also the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, which is in Australia. IAF is in Delaware. Let us start with Boeing, the company that publicly declared just days after 9/11 that it would lay off 20 to 30,000 employees. Only months later, in April 2002, Boeing issued a supplier bulletin instructing all vendors to send in parts, heat treatment, welding, and non-destructive testing under NADCAP. By July 2002, Boeing released another bulletin mandating that all suppliers must be AS9100 certified, specifically through the American National Accrediting Board or international equivalent, which could be China, Iran, and Pakistan. On the surface, this looked like a commitment to higher quality and tighter standards, but the truth I uncovered tells a far darker story. While Boeing was demanding certification from its suppliers, it was not AS9100 itself for over 22 years, ladies and gentlemen. Boeing built more than 12,000 commercial aircraft and over 400 military aircraft or more in an uncertified, unverified, and unsanctioned quality system. They gave the illusion of compliance sitting on the American National Accrediting Board Management System Accreditation Committee, which holds the power to grant, suspend, and withdraw certifications. The very same system from which Boeing itself was exempt. Now, how did they keep the illusion alive? Through a digital mirage called the Online Aerospace Supplier Information System, better known as OASIS. OASIS was launched by the International Aerospace Quality Group, an organization run approximately 65% by Boeing and consisting of the world's major manufacturers: Lockheed Martin, Pratt & Whitney, Airbus, Hamilton Sundstrand, GE Aerospace, Rockwell, and others. ANSI's own October 22, 2003 heads-up bulletin made it clear. No supplier could refuse to be listed on the Online Aerospace Systems Information System, and no supplier could refuse to pay the database fees. This was not about transparency or quality. It was about control and profit. OASIS became a money funnel, a way for the IAQG and its handlers, Boeing, ANSI, and ANAB, to monitor suppliers while collecting revenue and avoiding accountability. Aerospace original equipment manufacturers no longer had to send auditors or engineers to verify supply systems. All they had to do was sit behind a desk, open the database, and check a box. A digital stamp of trust in a system that was rotten from the top down. From Everett to Renton, from Auburn to Northfield, Boeing cut its quality force, inflated executive bonuses, and hid behind data that said everything was certified, when in truth, nothing was. In June 2024, Elizabeth Lund, Boeing's vice president of quality, claimed publicly in a Reuters interview that Boeing was fully compliant to AS9100, which compliancy does not equal certification, and undergoing rigorous internal audits that was the final straw. In October 2024, at my own expense, ladies and gentlemen, I traveled personally to Boeing's facilities in Everett, Renton, Auburn, and Northfield. I spoke directly with employees, machinists, engineers, inspectors. Not one of them had ever heard of AS9100. Not one of them seen an internal audit. Ms. Lund's statement was not just misleading, it was false. She retired December 2024. This is not just a Boeing problem. This deception infected the entire aerospace ecosystem through the IAQG. Every aerospace original equipment manufacturer under its umbrella, Lockheed Martin, Airbus, GE, Pratt & Whitney, Rockwell, and others benefited from the illusion that the OASIS database represented verified quality. It did not. I repeat, it did not. Maybe for their champagne toasts and their cigars and playing golf, but it did not improve quality. It represented convenience and concealment. And the organizations enabling it, the American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, the International Accreditation Forum, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, are intertwined in the web of corruption. ANSI officially took over control over ANAB in 2008, but make no mistake, they were always in control. A 2009 memo from ANSI's CEO proves it, declaring that ANSI and its affiliate ANAB are the founders of the IF, incorporated in Delaware, while its sister organization, ILAC, operates from Australia. These two associations of accreditation bodies, both national and international, rely on ANAB as their underwriter, meaning ANAB bears full legal responsibility for systematic and product failure. Under the IF and ILAC umbrellas, ANAB is the underwriter. As of January 2026, no amount of legal maneuvering, database rebranding can erase the fact for 22 years Boeing and the IAQG, under its influence, have operated in uncertified, unverified systems producing aircraft that were built under legitimate quality controls, never built under legitimate quality controls. 12,000 commercial aircraft, 400 military aircraft, all constructed under a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just an aviation issue. It is a national security issue, a public safety issue, and a betrayal of trust on a global scale. I, Daryl Guberman, as both a quality professional and a Boeing shareholder, demand full accountability from Boeing, ANAB, ANSI, and the IAQG, the integrity of American manufacturing, the safety of our aircraft, and the trust of every passenger depends on it. And the worst thing is, ladies and gentlemen, sitting on ANSI-ANAB's board are approximately about 70 federal agencies, 4 of which, the Department of Justice, the Department of Commerce, the FDA, and the Department of Justice, all sit on ANSI-ANAB's board. You have, again, Department of Commerce, Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, FDA, all sit on ANSI-ANAB's board, not just as members, but as customers. How are we as citizens going to feel safe when they're all in bed together? My number is 203-556-1493. And yes, I, Daryl Guberman, stood up at the DHS subcommittee on April 17th, 2024, showing those documents from April and July 2002. The only problem is that Richard Blumenthal was sitting on the DHS subcommittee, and the DHS is not just a member of ANSI-ANAB, but a customer. It was a fraud perpetrated on Sam Salapar, the poor whistleblower, who made comment about the design issues on the 777, 787 Boeing. And look at it. Look what Sam's prophecy has come to prove. That aircraft is pushed out to 2027. Can you imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? And remember this. As David Foster Wallace said, the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And by the way, this goes to the American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, and of course Boeing, who built fraudulent planes in an atmosphere that was not accredited, not certified for 22 years. So when you put your tail, ladies and gentlemen, on one of those planes, you don't know where those parts came from really, and how was it assembled. It wasn't accredited. David Foster Wallace said, the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And for you, ANSI, for you, ANAB and IF and ILAC, trying to change your name, IF and ILAC, to GLOBALAC in January 2026, and Boeing itself, I'm a shareholder. The truth will set you free, but not until Daryl Guberman is finished with you. And we're not done yet. 203-556-1493.